Oh, there you are, YouTube. We are continuing this series. It's been a while, but we are back. We are continuing the series where I I rank, I take a look at, we analyze the cover art of physical media for the Best Picture winners. We analyze them, we look at them, we rank them. I think a bug just landed on me. I'm a little rusty because it's been a while since we've done this. We haven't done this since the Oscars, so there has been a little bit of a break, but we are back and I'm excited to analyze cover art, to cover cover art through analysis. I think I'll start by showing you the best pictures in chronological order. Also, did I mention that we're in the 90s now? We are in the 90s. I am so rusty. It's been a while, like I said, but we're in the 90s. We're looking at the best picture winners from the 90s. And the best picture of 1990 was Dances with Wolves. 91 was Silence of the Lambs. That beat Beauty and the Beast, the Disney cartoon. 92, Unforgiven. 93, Schindler's List. 94, Tom Hanks. 94, Forrest Gump. A lot of people think this should be Pulp Fiction or Shawshank Redemption. What do you think? Where am I at now? 95, Braveheart. 96, The English Patient. 97, Titanic. That one's a Blu-ray. 98, Shakespeare and Love. And 99, American Beauty. Let's get to analyzing some cover art. You know, Apollo 13 came out in the 90s as well. Braveheart beat it. It was up for Best Picture, but it didn't win because Braveheart won. And we will go through these 1990s Best Picture winners in chronological order. So we start with 1990s Dances with Wolves. What I really like about this cover art, basically, whoa, sorry for jostling that, is that it's like his journal. So right here we have this. This doesn't feel like leather or anything, just kind of feels, you know, papery. But I like that it looks like a leather journal. It, instead of a snap or anything like that, obviously it's Velcro, you probably heard that. We just have a portrait here of Kevin Costner. Nice text here, I guess, I don't know. It's very identifiable for, or with this movie. I feel like it's sort of lived on and I don't know, it's just heavily associated with this film. But not much to it other than it looks like his journal and then has a slot for it for his picture. So, you know, it's kind of like trompe-l'oeil in a lot of ways, but I don't know, I kind of like it. You know, the trompe-l'oeil is disrupted by, you know, the Oscar down here, the text down here, special edition, all of that. You know, obviously all of this, but, you know, imagine all of that is not there and it's just the journal with his picture there. I think that's kind of nice. 91, we have The Silence of the Lambs. And this one I feel like is absolutely iconic because of the death head moth right there. We have Holzberg, Dali's collaboration, The Voluptuous Death. Here, let me give you a close-up of that. You may have never seen that before. Do you see the skull on the death's head moth right there? How it is human figures that are making up the skull. Like, it's a arrangement of bodies. I believe it's like 7 bodies that make up that skull on the moth. So that, I think, is definitely pretty cool for a movie cover there. So I don't know, this cover art just really speaks to me, I guess. I don't know, it doesn't speak to me, but it's so iconic that I have to love it. I just remember going to video stores and seeing it and it just capturing my attention. Jodie Foster's you know, gray, black and white face here, but the eyes are in color, and color that is very similar to what we're seeing there in the Death's Head moth. So I don't know, to me this one works. It was definitely an eye-catching VHS from my childhood, and I think it works here on the DVD as well. 92, we have Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. We have some floating heads here. Also, look, Clint Eastwood is right here. We see him from the back. We see his gun here, but he's also a floating head right here. And I mean, it's been probably 3-4 years since I've seen the film. I've probably only seen it maybe 5 times, but one of these, probably him as well. Does he show up 3 times? Also his name right there. Also he directed the movie. Come on, Clint. I don't know. You know, this is like his last Western, and that's sort of the point of it. It's like the Western to end all Westerns. And, you know, here we have people what at first glance look like they're riding off into the sunset, but they're not. They're facing us. They are riding away from the sunset towards you, the viewer. I don't know. I like the idea. And, you know, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm sure there's probably great reason for this. But when I think about it on a very surface level, as being sort of the last Western, at least of, you know, Clint's career, I think they should be riding off into the sunset, Indiana Jones style, you know. So, I don't know. Floating heads, I'm not that interested in this one. I like, you know, the highlights that we're getting around here, creating a glow. Floating heads, boring. This, I don't know, almost looks like, it looks kind of thrown together, but not in an extremely poor way, you know, that you instantly recognize it as bad. But giant figure of Clint Eastwood repeated over here with a bunch of other floating heads, and then just a quick image down here, and then the title over here. I don't know, it just looks a little too segmented for me. It's not the worst thing ever, but I'm not a big fan of it. You know, when you've seen the movie, this one hits pretty hard. You know, this is the girl in the red coat right here. The only bit of color. Actually, I think there's a candle also that has color, but, you know, the main bit of color that we get in this black and white film is right there, on the coat that the girl is wearing, the little girl. And, you know, once you see the movie, you know, it hits really hard. And then you can see the list, the names right here, placed over it sort of in dissolve style. And I don't know, I think it's powerful. I don't remember what I thought about this before I saw the movie, because I did see the movie very soon, once it was available to see. I think it was shown on TV, if I remember, or it was either like, I saw it, I'm pretty sure I saw it in grade school, like our school showed it to us, but I also remember it being on TV with like no commercials, like network television with no commercials. But anyway, I don't really remember what my childhood reaction was to this image, but now, you know, I've seen the movie a number of times, I feel like. I don't know, maybe not a number of times, let's say, you know, but more than 5, less than 10. But I don't know, it's just an image that hits so hard when you've seen the movie. So I don't know, this one is great. I wish I could remember what I thought about it as a kid. I probably didn't think about it as a kid, but what would this look like, you know, with fresh eyes where you haven't seen the movie? I'm very curious. You know, the text is really nice up here, filmed by Steven Spielberg, obviously the director, and then right here letting you know that it is a Best Picture winner. Forrest Gump, very minimal. I mean, I think this, I wish this wasn't here. You know, they got to tell you that it's won Best Picture, but I wish we were just looking at this, him on the bench, and all of this. Maybe this could be smaller. I wish it was very minimal. Like, remember when we were looking at the 80s, the 1980s cover art for Driving Mrs. Daisy, I talked about how it was so minimal that it almost seemed unfinished. I don't feel that here. I feel like everything sort of works, you know, with the white background, where I thought it didn't work with the Driving Miss Daisy cover. But I think it works here. And, you know, we get his silhouette right here, you know, the side of his face, we get that. The famous bench, you know, the famous briefcase, luggage case, whatever you want to call that. I like that they did put shadow below him, even though there is nothing around him. It's like absent of environment except for right there, which is kind of nice. I do think maybe this could have been smaller. No, I think I like this size. It's just this, you know, kind of disrupts. I wish, you know, I could see it without that. I think it would be, yeah, you know, maybe without all of that too. That would be a nice image. That'd make a nice poster. But, you know, I'm a fan of this. I like this one. You know, you get a lot of people making fun of the orange and blue that you see in posters. I'm not sure it really happens so much anymore, but I think it was kind of big in the 2000s, 2010s. Excuse me, but we have it here. We have all the orange over here, and we have some blue here. It's almost more of a, you know, a gray blue, so it doesn't stand out the same way as, you know, sort of the way people would parody the orange and blue posters, those complementary color posters. Here we get some blue right there, it's more obvious. But Mel Gibson movie, Mel Gibson directed, and there he is, letting you know that he is a part of this film. Also, the name right there, that is his arm, that is his bicep right there. Who knows, he could be in the crowd over here. But I think this looks pretty dynamic. You know, at first you kind of look at this as fire, right? I mean, I guess it is fire right there, but you don't look at this as a, you know, a love scene right here. At first glance, you know, it just kind of looks like fire, and then you're like, oh, there are people doing it right there. But or just hugging, embracing is, you know, let's keep it G-rated, PG. But yeah, I mean, this is fine. It, you know, we have our character here, our main character here. We have battles in the background, and then we have imagery, which at first glance looks like fire, but then when you know, spend more time with it, you see a couple in embrace. So I think this one works. I like this one too. This one is incredibly dark, but it kind of has that metallicness to it. Can you tell that? You can probably see me in the background and my phone in the background, or, you know, in being reflected, I mean. So I don't know, that's kind of cool, but why this enormous frame around this image right here? The black frame, I mean, we have the sort of brown frame around them, the thin, and then the thick black frame, and then, you know, sort of that copper bronze frame around them as well. And then, you know, the black of the plastic portion of the DVD cartridge. But, cartridge, that's not the right word. Holder? I don't know. Case, there you go. I don't know, I don't get it. I don't, you know, this is extremely boring. Here we have sort of that plain scene right there, which is kind of, you know, action. So, I don't know, maybe focus on that more? Get people interested in seeing this movie? Any Seinfeld fans know about this movie? Yeah, I don't know. I don't get this. I don't know why they didn't shoot for something more interesting, but all it has for it is this little action scene that you can barely see, and then, you know, I guess the metallic quality to it, but in the end, not for me. Okay, this one has a slip cover on it right now. I will take it off, but I did want to show off that the slip cover does have that metallic quality to it, which I think really works with the windows, and the metal of the ship I think is really nice. Doesn't really, you know, do much for anything up top, but I think it looks amazing right there. But I'm going to take that off because I just, you know, I don't want that in there. The first time on Blu-ray information. So this part right here is not metallic, but right here we have the title sort of separating our imagery, the sinking of the Titanic below right here. You can see it's sort of shooting up out of the water. No iceberg in sight. And then here we have Jack and Rose embracing, looks like sort of water or maybe sparks or something. It's probably water, just, you know, surrounding them. What is this right here? Is that one of those smoke, what do you call that? Steam pipe, smoke pipe thingies right there? Steamboat Willie, one of those things. But, you know, I think this is kind of generic. I do like what we get right here, but it does just seem too separated right here. Like, I don't know, you know, they're just kind of like floating head style imagery right there. I don't know, do you read this as a single image or two images divided by the title? Because I think that's how I read it. When I try and put them together, it's absolutely awful. It definitely relies on the title to sort of separate the two images. So that was a smart move, I guess, if this is what you're going to give us. But imagine none of the text is here. Then we have a pretty awful image. Back to DVDs. I think this one here is pretty boring. Here we have Joseph and Gwyneth just embracing one another with this, I don't know, this is supposed to be like red cloth background, which sort of bleeds into them right here so that the text can show up and not get lost in her dress. You know, here it's letting you know what happened, you know, won Best Picture. Miramax really letting you know who they are, you know, with this giant bar right there. I think they could have done a lot more, but I don't know, it does its job. Shakespeare and Love is what this is called. This must be Shakespeare. Look at those faces. Yeah, they're probably in love. And our final film, American Beauty. Here we have Mina Savari's belly and her belly button and her hand and a rose, you know, like the rose petals that are falling. Classic. You know, they basically just went with the most iconic image and sort of gave you a sample of it here. It works because of that. Like, there's no mistaking what this movie is. And from all the previews, and if you've seen this movie, it's saying what the movie is. American Beauty, you know, flesh, I guess, desire, all of that makes sense to me. I don't know. I mean, with its connection to the movie, it's strong, but otherwise it just kind of seems like a boring poster. Like, let's just say, separate it from the film, a boring poster somebody would have in their first apartment in college or something. I don't know. In context with the movie, I think it's very smart and it works. And also, Mina Savari being on a Best Picture. I mean, this might be a body double, but let's say it's her. Her stomach, she is on a Best Picture winner, cover art, physical media. She's there. I can never say those words in the right order. But anyway, I just think that's amazing. If this were me, I would love that, to forever be associated with a movie from 1999. You know, it's kind of surprising that this is the 1999 movie that they chose. There were so many great films of that year to choose from, but this is what they went with. And, you know, lots of films, you know, from that year. One of the greatest years in, whoa, sorry for the bump there, greatest years in cinema history. But yeah, A Look Closer. Did we need that? American Beauty, A Look Closer. I don't think that should be there. You know, all of this is very noisy, but it is the awards edition, so they want you to know. They want you to know. They all want you to know. But yeah, I think this works, especially in context with the movie, and if you're familiar with the movie, even if it's just the preview, I think it works. But also, I don't know, it kind of draws you in. It's like, oh, naked flesh. I want to watch that movie. Now I just got to figure out how to rank them.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Tom, I think I got them all ranked. Let's take a look. Okay, we're going to go backwards. We are going to start with the worst and go to the best. So the worst goes to Shakespeare in Love. There is a glare. Where's that coming from? Why is it blue? This one is last, but, you know, they were, you know, very close. I think this one only is ahead of Shakespeare in Love because of the metallic quality. Then we have Unforgiven. The reason, I don't know, it's just all the floating heads, Clint Eastwood being there everywhere. Titanic, I would say, I don't know, if you look at it all together, it doesn't work. It really needs the title to separate, but I just love that they use the dynamic image of the boat sinking. I think that really works. Then we have, these two are basically equals when it comes to American Beauty and Forrest Gump. This one, I think, sells the movie very well, and in context with the movie is very strong. And then right here, Forrest Gump, I just like the, you know, the minimalist quality to it. I like all the white surrounding and just lack of environment except for right there with the shadow. I think that's kind of cool. Let me flip the camera around. There we go. Much less awkward for my neck. Okay. So, Braveheart, I just like all the action. I like that he's here. I like that the fire. We also see an embrace right there. There's a lot to it, but maybe not instantly. Like at first, we just see him, but then there's a lot to it. The trompe-l'oeil is what wins here. You know, the fact that it looks like a diary, a leather-bound diary. So, yeah, that's basically the reason for that one. I just like the trompe-l'oeil aspect to it. Though this thing can, you know, when you have all your DVDs together, creates an awkward, like, positioning, spacing with your film. This one right here, just extremely powerful. When you've seen the movie, I wish I knew what it would feel like to look at this having not seen the movie, because I don't have that memory. I was so young. But oh, another thing I wanted to show off, which I forgot to earlier. Oh no, this one sort of, you know, functions like a book, so that's really nice. But yeah, I don't know, I think this is a very strong image, but I had to go with Hallsberg and Dali because right there, the Death's Head moth with their photograph is pretty fantastic, and this image just seared into my brain. I think it seared into so many people's brain as they were going to the video store looking to see what VHS to rent, and they would pass this, and I think everybody would look at it because of that death's head moth right there, and Jodie Foster sitting on Jodie Foster's mouth. I think it's fantastic. So that's my number one. And there they all are lined up together. Do you know of editions of these movies with better cover art? Because a lot of these could be upgraded, especially, you know, the ones down on this end. Steelbooks, are there any steelbooks of these films? Because I'd love to know so that I can update some of these. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this ranking of cover art of the Best Picture winners, Best Picture winner cover art. I don't know why, but I do not know what order to put those words in. But thank you so much for watching this vlog, regardless of how you say it. And perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout. Best Picture.